Hello, good morning, everyone. Today we will be discussing on the BA questions that were asked recently in HDFC Bank. Hi, this is Kanu Bhutani here, and welcome back to my BA questions video, a new video. So let's see what questions were asked and how we can reply to that. So the first question is, have you ever created wireframes? If yes, then what is the difference between wireframe and UI design? So here basically this is not a BA question, but it is a question to understand that a person whom we are interviewing, he is into IT, or is he aware of, has he done some development or some functionality wherein has he created any diagrams, the use case diagrams for that? So wireframes are, we have to say that yes, we have used wireframes because these are very things which we require when we come across any module and a process, and we have seen any functional design document. So yes, we have seen wireframes. So these are the guidelines that guide the interface creation. So what is interface creation? It is the flow of the module from one thing to another, means the connectivity, the one the page is here, then you click on something, then it goes to next page, then you click on something, then it goes to third page. So the wireframe guides the interface creation of this, and it mostly focuses on the structure and the functionality. So if you have seen any functional design document, that will certainly contain the flow of the structure and the entire use case that we are dealing with and we are working on. So it will contain the entire functionality of that and the structure, as I told you, from one to second, second to third. So the entire flow we will come to know. So wireframes are one of those use case diagrams that we create. So basically it depends, like the mostly the BAs work on creating these diagrams from PowerPoint, putting into PowerPoint or visual studios like Visio. Microsoft Visio is also one of the examples of wireframes. So yes, we have to do something if we are into entering into functionality of some use case. Then UI design, of course, we have created the UI designs because they especially are like the front end, what will be the visual elements, the front end, how the front end will look. Because, of course, this functionality means we are dealing with the database, the internal side of it, input and output. But UI design basically shows us the visual elements. So, yes, this also is one of the most important when we are designing something. So we have to know what colors to be used, what topography and images to be used to make it user friendly. So the designs to enhance the usability and the aesthetics, the designs and the different types of buttons, or sometimes you would have seen that instead of buttons they use some uh, images, and on that images if you click you will be taken. So how much user friendly you can do the design becomes comes in a UI design. So currently there are many UI interfaces that we use, like AngularJS or React.js. So we get that. The next question is, as a senior BA, how do you help the PO, product owner, stakeholder to create a release plan? Basically, what is the release plan? The release plan is the one that you do it before a sprint begins in a scrum. So the plan, you have to create a plan. Basically, the sprint that is there is of mostly 4 weeks. Sometimes it goes to 6 weeks. So within 4 weeks or 6 weeks, what all things, what all use cases you can make, you can create, or you can complete with the team that you have. And so those user stories you have to create and create a release plan for the next sprint that you are going to begin. So how, being a BA, you help a PO stakeholder? The very first important thing is understand the project goals and priorities. This is very important because you have to understand the priority of the stakeholder. Maybe there are, say, around 10 or 20 use cases, but you have to use only 5 use cases in this sprint. So you have to understand what priorities stakeholders want to, and what are the goals. So you need to speak on this. The second thing is you analyze the user needs and requirements. It's not necessary that every time the priorities will get the upper hand, but also the user needs, the requirements, and then comes once you analyze this, you have to collaborate with the POs and stakeholders and explain them that why these use cases you want to use in this sprint. What are the reasons? You have to give the reasons based on the project goals, priorities, requirements, and the scopes and features you have to define about that use case, and the dependencies. Now, see, say if there is one use case which is dependent on use case 20, so you just can't omit use case 20. You have to use that use case also, because user case 1 is dependent on use case 20. So you have to not only prioritize, but also find the dependencies. And finally, the timelines, discussions, and adjustments you have to do. Okay, 4 weeks or 6 weeks, within how much time? So this is a extremely important and sometimes a very tedious exercise, where you have to decide each and everything which is written here. Basically, the goals and priorities, the needs, the dependencies, the features, all you have to consider, and then finally come up with a plan, a release plan. And you also, here in timeline discussions, you have to also see that you are how many people you are having in your team, and how much time will it take to complete this. So basically you have to decide many things over here. So as a senior BA, you have to give your inputs on all these. The next, okay, now the third question is, you have got no experience in banking domain. How do you plan to cope? Now, this is a very important question, where interviewer wants to judge you that if you're not having any experience in some domain, how you will cope up. So the very first thing is that you have to do a lot of research for banking industry, and you have to know at least the fundamentals and the basics of that industry by your own. So here the main thing is that reading the documents, going through the videos, going through the specific, not specific, but in general, what is banking domain, you need to know that. The second is learn the domain specific terminology, regulations. So in banking industry, there are many terminologies like co-rep, fin-rep. So you need to know co-rep is correlation, or consolidated reporting, and FinRep is financial reporting, and regulations are like there are many countries who have different regulations, so you need to know what regulations there are in banking domain, so you need to know that. Then seek the mentorship from experienced professionals. Then there are experienced professional in the banking in your company, banking domain. Then make them as mentor and ask them for some help, some documents or some inputs from them, what they understand about the banking domain. Basically, it is like to enhance your knowledge. You need to do all this. Then you have to attend the relevant trainings and workshops if there are any. Mostly for domain, there are not many trainings or workshops, but sometimes in your company, there happens that they give some domain relevant trainings and workshops. So you have to find out that. And finally, you have to apply those skills and adapt quickly. So the basically the this things, all these five things say that you have to learn quickly and you have to be a quick learner and you have to adapt all these skills uh, and apply those in your project. That is the basic way to cope up with the plan of your project or your work that you'll be working on. The next question is, if you have to build a new application which can create new bank accounts quickly, saving accounts quickly without visiting the branch, what would be the easiest way to start with? Now, this is a very specific situational question asked by the interviewer where they really want to see that how much domain uh, experience you have or how much expert you are in understanding the domain and getting the technical things both together. I would say that you need to say that we can develop online account registration portal. Once a person registers online, we ensure that secure data transmission methods are there. The security, like there is two fold authentication is there. Say once a person develops the enters the registration online, two-way twofold security authentication is like you first take the mobile number and then send them the OTP and tell them to enter the OTP. So that becomes the two-fold authentication for security transmissions. Then you incorporate the identity verification and authentication. So a verification you have done the mobile, but authentication you can ask them for some ID card. The Aadhaar card is nowadays a very authenticated method to authenticate a person, a user, that he's a what is his details. So getting his Aadhaar card is the main thing. Then integrate with banking backend system. So once you verify and authenticate a person and the account is created online and you're satisfied with, you're okay with all the details and you have done your background check, then you integrate that with your backend systems. Banking, it should integrate with your backend systems where you have created the tables of the for the accounts for all the details. Once you integrate that with this, then you test it for usability and security. Banking related, you should very first understand that it should be secure enough. It should be very, very secure, and it should be usable enough and easily used by the users. So these five steps should be followed. And if you create this new application by this way, You will surely be easily create a new account without a person or without a user visiting a branch. The next question is, what are some of the key elements of a successful business analyst according to you? Now, here the interviewer is checking your knowledge. He wants to check that you have done some business analyst work and what you feel are the elements. The very first is you should have a strong communication and interpersonal skills. Now, see, as a BA is a middle person who speaks to a SME or a client, gets the details from them, and they speak to their implementation team. They have to explain everything what they got from SME to the implementation team, and then take their questions forward to them. So that requires a very strong communication. You cannot alter the things what the user or what the SME has told you and tell something else to the implementation team. You might have seen that we do some exercise during the management and interpersonal skills training, that if I'm telling you something and you do the actions to another person and that tells something else, and finally the last person who's standing tells totally different story. So that should not happen. Then analytical thinking and problem solving abilities, of course, when you start getting the inputs from SME, you have to understand, okay, this can be solved or not solved. You need to have a strong technical knowledge also, that the technical things that you are using, the implementation team that is using, can it be solved? Those problems can be solved, or is it not possible technically? That also you need to know. The third is you need to have a good domain knowledge and industry understanding. Adaptability to changing project requirements. So there are many, one use case can be different and totally different from second use case. So you have to adapt to that changing project requirements. And ability to facilitate collaboration and consent. So collaboration is very important here, because as I told you that BA is a middle person who communicates with two teams, and so collaboration is very important. Sometimes you have to keep talking with different teams and explain them and get the inputs. So this sometimes becomes also a very tedious work. As a BA, you have to show them that you are uh, capable enough to communicate and uh, do the work done and close the use case. Till now, if everything goes fine, then I guess you will be selected for the uh, interview. But this is the sixth question, which says this position requires someone with a team leading capacity. What makes you a lead BA? So here they need a team leading person. So as a lead BA, what you feel, how, why you are a lead BA? So the very first thing, you can say that you have extensive experience in a BA role and you have proven your ability to lead the teams. You can say that three BAs are working under you, or five BAs with whom you communicate, and you are having the ability to lead your entire BA team. Effective communication and delegation skills. Communication is very important, as well as delegation skills are very important. Many people don't like delegating their work, giving their work to their juniors, but this is very important how you delegate, because delegation has two things that you delegate. but the responsibility is yours. The accountability is yours. When you delegate it to a junior BA, responsibility is his to complete, but accountability is onto you. Then strong decision making and problem solving abilities. This is very important. Mind you, the only thing that can take you up on the ladder is decision making. If you don't have decision making, if you can't decide the things, even if they are wrong or if they are right, if you don't do decision making, sorry, you can't go above the ladder. You will be remaining there only. This is the only thing that will make you go up and up. And then problem solving abilities. I have heard one speech from a person who says that he has seen that only decision making was his ability that made him the leader and the CEO of the company. And the thing is, the decision making that he started was by making his bed. He decided every day morning when he gets up, he makes his bed and no one else makes it. That was his first decision. And then once he did that decision, then he started taking decisions on in office also and everywhere. So the best way to decide to become a decision maker, my thing is that, I started making decisions when ever I used to go in hotel, for example, with having dinner or lunch with my friends. So normally what used to happen, we used to wonder what to order, what not to order. So always there was a confusion in that. But then whenever I decided once that whenever they ask me that what you want to eat, I will tell my things and I will decide the order. And that was the first thing when I decided, and that decision making was very good because what I ordered, everyone liked it. And so then from there, my decision making began. So you have to see that your decision making is very, very strong. And finally, focusing on achieving project goals. This is the whatever you do, the goal is that you have to achieve or you have to complete your work and you have to show that. So that is what is important. Then comes, have you ever trained end users? Mentoring is again a very important thing as a senior BA or a lead BA. You have to mentor many people, but this is for end users. So yes, we have to train the end users on the software that we have made, the front end, the back end, how the users will come to know. The users, when you train them, when you explain them what you have done, then only they will come to know. So this is the most important, that you have trained them on the software that you have made. Then conduct the workshops, provided documentation. Yes, the documentation is to be made. Many projects, I've seen many projects which are very good projects, which are very successful projects, but only because they don't have documentations up to date, that projects fail. So keeping the documentation up to date, the user documentation, the manuals, the things that you give it to the user is very important. Demonstrate the features and answer queries. You have to answer all the queries that are asked by the users. Then ensure their understanding and address their concerns. They can say that why should I click on forgot password? Why the forgot password button is there? Why do not you do it on your own? Why should I do this additional thing? So you have to explain them everything. What is the reason why we have kept forgot password? Why should that happen? Then receive the positive feedback on effectiveness, and then you have to tell them to use the software, and give your feedback, and then work on that feedback. So that's it, I guess. These are the 7 questions which were asked, and if you can really reply in this way, in this clear and concise manner, I think within half an hour you will be selected for your next company, next project. So thank you very much. I hope this was a very good session, and have a nice day. Bye bye.